The lawyer's voice crackled through my phone as I sat in my cramped Seattle apartment, staring at rain streaking down the window. Ms. Chun, I'm calling about your great-uncle Robert's estate. You've inherited his property in West Texas, about 40 acres near the border. I blinked. I didn't even know I had a great-uncle Robert. He was your grandmother's brother. Quite the recluse, apparently. The property's been sitting vacant for about 3 years since he passed. We finally finished probating the estate. I pulled up Google Maps as he gave me the coordinates. The satellite view showed nothing but scrubland and mesquite trees, miles from anything resembling civilization. The nearest town, Esperanza, was a dot on the map with a population of maybe 200 people. Is it worth anything? I asked. The lawyer chuckled. In that area, maybe $15,000 total. But it's yours free and clear. No taxes owed. 6 weeks later, I was driving my old Honda down a dusty Texas highway, watching the landscape transform from highway stops to absolute nothingness. I quit my soul-sucking marketing job, packed everything I owned, and decided to at least see this inheritance before selling it. Maybe the desert would give me clarity about what to do with my life. The GPS lost signal 20 minutes before I reached the property. I was navigating by screenshots and a hand-drawn map the lawyer had mailed me. The turnoff was unmarked, just a gap in a barbed wire fence that looked like every other gap I'd passed for 50 miles. I turned onto what could generously be called a dirt road, my Honda bottoming out on rocks every few feet. Then, after a quarter mile of bone-rattling driving, I crested a small rise and slammed on my brakes. There was a house on my property. No, not just a house. A sprawling Spanish-style villa with terracotta roof tiles, white stucco walls, and a 3-car garage. The landscaping alone must have cost $50,000. Desert plants arranged in artistic clusters, a circular driveway with decorative pavers, even a fountain featuring a bronze roadrunner. What the hell? I parked and walked toward the building in a daze. This was impossible. The satellite images from 6 months ago showed empty land. Someone had built an entire mansion in less than half a year. A small metal sign near the entrance caught my eye. Desert Vista HOA Community, private property, members only. My confusion turned to anger. An HOA had built on my land? Without permission? I tried the front door. Locked. I cupped my hands against a window and peered inside. Leather furniture, a stone fireplace, a kitchen with top-of-the-line appliances. This wasn't some squatter situation. This was a multi-million-dollar development. My phone showed 1-bar service. I took dozens of photos and tried calling the lawyer, but the call wouldn't connect. I'd have to drive back to town. As I turned to leave, a white Range Rover came barreling up the road, dust billowing behind it. It screeched to a stop, and a woman in her 60s emerged, wearing a visor, tennis whites, and an expression of absolute fury. "Excuse me, this is private property." She marched toward me like a general heading into battle. "This is an HOA facility, and you are trespassing." I held my ground. "Actually, you're trespassing. This is my property." She laughed, a sharp, dismissive sound. "I don't know what kind of scam you're trying to pull, but I'm calling the sheriff." "Please do." I pulled out my phone and showed her the property deed the lawyer had sent. I inherited this land from Robert Chun, all 40 acres, and I'd love to know why there's a building on it. Her face went through several interesting color changes, pink to red to something approaching purple. That's impossible. We purchased this land from the county. Tax sale. My great-uncle's taxes were all paid up. The estate confirmed it. 3 more vehicles arrived, 2 more Range Rovers, and a Tesla. A crowd of well-dressed retirees piled out, all looking confused and angry. The woman, who introduced herself as Patricia Vandermeer, HOA president, kept insisting there must be some mistake. One of the men, wearing pressed khakis and a polo shirt with an embroidered crest, stepped forward. "I'm Gerald Hofstetter, HOA treasurer. We purchased this parcel from Esperanza County after it was listed as abandoned property. We paid $35,000 and have all the documentation." "Then the county made a mistake," I said, "because my great-uncle owned this land outright, and I have a clear chain of title going back 40 years. Patricia's eyes narrowed. Well, regardless of these supposed ownership issues, we've invested over $2 million developing this property. This villa serves as our community center. We have 12 homes planned for this development, and 6 are already under construction on the surrounding parcels. I felt my stomach drop. Surrounding parcels? This is a 40-acre plot. We purchased 4 adjacent parcels. This is the centerpiece. She gestured at the villa with proprietary pride. We've created something special here, a luxury retirement community for discerning individuals seeking privacy and elevation. On my land, I said quietly. The group exchanged worried glances. Gerald cleared his throat. Perhaps we can reach an accommodation. We could offer you a settlement. Say, $50,000 for your inconvenience. I walked back to the villa and ran my hand along the smooth stucco. Solar panels lined the roof. Through another window, I could see a game room with a pool table and wet bar. $2 million, you said? Patricia nodded stiffly. At least, probably closer to 3 with furnishings. I turned back to face them, and something in my expression made them take a collective step backward. Here's what's going to happen, I said. I'm going to drive back to town, contact my lawyer, and confirm my ownership. Then I'm going to file a police report about this illegal construction. Then... Now, wait just a minute. Patricia sputtered. We acted in good faith. The county sold us that land. The county made a mistake. That's between you and them. I pulled out my phone and took a photo of the gathered group. You built on my property without permission. In Texas, that means I own everything you built. Improvements become part of the land. Gerald went pale. That's not, you can't. I absolutely can. It's called accession law. Look it up. An older woman in the back started crying. We put our retirement savings into this development. I felt a twinge of sympathy, but only a twinge. Then you should have done better due diligence before building on someone else's property. Patricia drew herself up to her full height. We have lawyers too, Missy. You think some Seattle nobody can just waltz in here and... Some Seattle nobody who owns the land your entire development is built on... I interrupted. I suggest you talk to those lawyers soon. Very soon. I walked back to my car, my heart hammering. Behind me, the group erupted into panicked conversation. As I drove away, I could see them in my rear-view mirror, clustered around Patricia like chickens around a hawk. Back in Esperanza, I found the county clerk's office and spent 3 hours going through records. The picture became clear. The county had made a clerical error, listing my great-uncle's property as abandoned when it wasn't. The HOA's lawyers had done a title search, but somehow missed the error. Maybe they were lazy. Maybe they were in a hurry. Either way, they built their dream development on land they didn't own. My lawyer, when I finally reached him, laughed so hard he started coughing. Oh, this is beautiful. Just beautiful. Yes, you own the improvements. Yes, they'll probably sue. Yes, you'll win. Texas property law is very clear on this. 3 days later, I received a certified letter. The HOA was offering me $500,000 to deed them the property and resolve this unfortunate situation. I wrote back with a counteroffer. $2.5 million for the villa and 10 acres, or they could remove their building at their own expense within 90 days. They accepted within 24 hours. 2 months later, I stood on the terrace of my villa, watching the sunset paint the desert in shades of orange and gold. The HOA had taken their settlement and purchased different land 20 miles north. I'd heard through the Esperanza grapevine that Patricia Vandermeer had resigned in disgrace. The irony wasn't lost on me. I'd come to Texas with nothing, ready to sell a worthless patch of desert. Instead, I'd gained a mansion, $2 million in the bank after legal fees, and a strange new appreciation for reading property deeds carefully. My phone rang. The local news wanted an interview about the woman who inherited a mansion by accident. I smiled and declined. Some stories were too good to share. From my terrace, I could see miles of empty desert in every direction. Peace, solitude, and a very expensive lesson about the importance of proper due diligence, courtesy of the Desert Vista HOA. I raised my glass of wine, to the setting sun. Thanks for the free mansion, Uncle Robert. And thank you, Patricia Vandermeer, for your generous donation. The desert wind carried my laughter across the empty land, my empty land, with its very occupied, very expensive villa, sitting right in the middle of it. Sometimes karma works in mysterious ways.